Good morning. Today is Sunday, April 5th, first contact day, and you are watching the Viewscreen. I am your host, Amy Nelson.
And I'm your host, Kelvin Wood. Now, remember, the Viewscreen is your weekly Star Trek magazine show, streaming live on YouTube. And we're here with the news, with our friends, and with lots of special features, sending love to our Star Trek family all around the world.
Yes. Well, Kelvin, happy first contact day.
Happy first contact day. I've thrown on a uniform for the occasion.
Yes, I really need to get one of those. They are, I would say, one of the most favorite amongst the fans for cosplay.
Yeah, they certainly are for me and James. I would say, obviously, the Scant holds a very special place in our hearts. Yes. But these come a close second. I will say, just as a little throw out there advert for the company, the jacket is from a German producer called Filmwelt, and they're very good. Whereas the undershirt is just Cosmart, everyone's favorite. But this is quite a darker gray, more screen accurate than the Cosmart one. So I'd really recommend. And after being on holiday for a week as well and coming back to the Manchester weather, it's nice to have two layers on, a nice little wool garment for the old man. I'm quite cold.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you did get to enjoy some good weather while you were away.
You seem not in your normal location this week. So are you away as well?
So I am up in Utah visiting family for the Easter weekend. And so I'm sort of at the Airbnb, locked in a room. It's not my normal place. I'm a little disheveled. So So welcome to everyone who is watching us live. We have Wes in the comments. Happy first contact day, Amy and Kelvin from Wes.
Happy first contact day, Wes. Hi, everyone.
So if you're watching, please go ahead and say hi to us in the chat and let us know you're out there.
Yeah, and please do make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notify button on YouTube as well, so you don't miss an episode of the Viewscreen. We really love it when people join us live. This is why we do the show live, so people can put the messages up, ask questions of the guests, and we can just connect and interact a little bit. It's much better than a pre-record. So yeah, we appreciate everyone who joins us regularly, and hi to everyone who's new.
Yes, and we have Chad. Are we 38 years from meeting the Vulcans? Yes, we need to get there.
We really do.
Does that mean we have to have World War III? It might be happening.
I think that's already started, Amy. Yeah, we've got to get through some shit before we get to the utopia, but it's more needed than ever, it seems, at the moment.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But, I was looking back through loads of years and years and years of social media posts on today of only so many, 38 years. It's not long. I remember when it used to say 50 years away. And now
yes. Yes. Well, hopefully I was out on social media and saw the favorite Easter meme of He Has Risen, and it's Spock. Everyone around him. It's a very good meme. I think Robin Trex has done that.
Of course. And it's that weird kind of timey-wimey today where we actually have first contact day on Easter. So there's lots of mashup pictures of Easter bunnies, Jesus Christ, Vulcans, and Zephram Cochrane all across the internet. And it's, happy Easter, happy first contact day to all who celebrate. Happy Attack on Mars if you are evil and celebrate that one too.
Oh, there's a lot going on in sci-fi then. Well, what do we have going on for today's lineup?
Okay, coming up on today's show, we have Christos with us today with the news. Hello to Christos.
Yes, we're so glad to have our All Good Thing family to help support our Viewscreen. And we have, who's with us, JJ with his Pride badges. Hello.
JJ. And finally, we are welcoming back to the Viewscreen our favorite. It's Dr. Josh. Josh is here. Easter party ready?
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. Oh, we've got Paul in the comments. Hello. So glad you could make it as well.
Hi, Paul. Okay, what a packed show. So let us begin and head over to the newsroom and introduce Christos. We don't have a backup jingle for you, Christos, so you'll just have to accept Kristin's sloppy seconds today.
Going to say that's some decent drag I have to live up to for that.
Yeah.
The finest.
I mean, that's going to be some big hills too.
How are you? It's a nice little pivot, this, because it's about 5 weeks ago since we last did our All Good Things, and then we've got a few more weeks until. So this is our mid-season break reacquaintance with you. What have you been up to?
I know, it's probably great that we've been on break, because I went to Vegas for a week for work, and then Amy was gone. I mean, I didn't even get to see Amy. And then I came home for a few days, and then I went to Hawaii for like 11 or 12 days. And so I feel like I was gone most of March, and I'm off to Sacramento tomorrow. So it's been a lot of travel, but yeah, and then kind of keeping everything else under control. So I guess busy is the word.
Wow.
Nice.
You just use your home for storage rather than actually living there.
Yes.
It's a lot of Star Trek storage. Here's like my biggest conundrum. You guys remember that really big refit Enterprise that they had at STLV a year and a half ago, like the 3-foot one?
Yeah.
So it showed up last week.
And
it's so big. It's so big. I'm kind of afraid to take it out of the box. I think I'm just going to sell it, because like, where am I going to put this thing?
I have seen a couple of unboxing of them on social media, and you're right, they're huge.
They're huge. I'm just like, I mean, I think I have to draw the line somewhere. The line must be drawn here.
No further.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, what's been going on in the news this week, Christos?
Well, it's been kind of I would say a little bit of a quiet week, but WonderCon was last week, and the Nacelle company, you guys all know Brian Volk-Weiss. He's pretty vocal. He made some big announcements. He showed, with these Star Trek figures, they're releasing what they're calling like the every wave is having 1 to 2 like big accessories, and these are the guys that you want to collect because they don't cost any more than the other ones, but they're literally providing like, some of these dioramas for like, setting up scenes and stuff. So they announced that the Wave 3, which who knows when this is getting released, the McCoy is going to have the full sick bay bio bed set up.
Wow.
Which is like, yeah. And it doesn't look really cool. I mean, it's just like, it's huge. I mean, it is like, what action figures do come with these kind of accessories? It's kind of cool.
The accessory is almost better than the action figure itself.
Right. Well, and then you can like totally like do other, and I know they announced that they're going to be releasing the entire bridge for TOS to scale, and you'll buy them in 12 sections. So you'll buy it 1 per month, kind of like a subscription, and build it as the year goes. So I don't know. It's kind of hitting this point where I don't know where people are going to be putting all this stuff. You're going to have to, like you said, Kelvin, it's storage. Your house has become Star Trek. So this one's exciting. If you want to I'm going to kind of review these big accessories for you guys so you kind of know which ones you need to phone in. So this one, Valkyris from Star Trek 3, which is a very, very, very deep cut of an action figure, is available now. And you can even get this, I think, on Amazon. You don't even have to go to any special sites, and you can get it shipped for free with Prime and all that. But it comes with a whole Genesis device. Like, I mean, she only mentions having the plans in the movie, but but the action figure itself,
that would be rubbish.
I mean, so I guess later on when you get your Kirk or your Khan or whatever, David, Dr. Marcus, they're all coming up. You can already have this. So, but like, and this is all to scale. I know it looks a little small here on the screen, but when you get if you've seen the box, it's pretty huge.
So, yeah. Christos, Chad brings up a question, not another subscription. Is this a subscription, or can you buy one-offs with these?
The only subscription, I think, is the bridge. And I don't think they have said whether or not you can just buy a piece, like if you just want Uhura Station and that's it. I would imagine you could, but the idea is, though, you would need all 12 to make it fit, and it's not one big investment at once. But for scale, though,
I dare say there will be some people who buy them and then resell them individually on eBay or other sites, probably for an inflated price, but still cheaper than getting all of them together. So that might be an option.
Yeah, I just canceled my fan home subscription because these rando starships just keep showing up, and I'm like, I don't even ask. All I want is number 24, the Athena. When are we going to get that? I think I'm just going to take my chances and try to get it one off when it's released, because you're right, Chad. These subscriptions are ridiculous, and no one has that kind of room. And these big accessories are big. I mean, this is what a normal size one looks like with normal accessories.
Right.
So the boxes are like almost double. So wave 2 is the next wave, and some really cool ones here. If you get Geordie, which is from Generations Geordie, you get the holodeck arch, and that is to scale, not like it looks small here in the picture, but it will be to scale with the figure.
So we wouldn't have to duck to walk under it like he looks like.
No. And then, of course, everyone's kind of seen this before. The Kirk from Generations comes with a horse, and that he can actually be put on. So that's pretty incredible. But so I mean, for those of you who like to do your setups and stuff, it's pretty cool. But I mean, the Geordie one's tempting because the arch is pretty cool. But but otherwise, I don't know what I need with 1700s Geordie.
Right.
Which it seems like that's becoming a whole thing too, because they are going to do Worf and Data already announced. So I think they're going to work through the whole TNG cast in their Generations holodeck scene. And already announced for Wave 4, you'll probably see this in 2029 or something. But with the Picard First Contact, you get the ships in the ready room, or the observation lounge. Yeah, so that's like, and that will be to scale. So I don't know.
So we
I think
can
they're doing
crash our little ships.
It's before he breaks them as well, which is great.
Yeah. Now, see, that would be like the best part, right? If it came with you could take the face off of it and crash it and then put it back together. That's
maybe, who knows? They might be like little, like the novelties you get inside chocolate eggs that piece the plastics together. You might be able to make them crash. Although no, there'll probably be a choking hazard if they're that small.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen
children having these?
the hands and the phasers and the communicators? They're all choking hazards.
Right. Yeah. I don't think under fours are going to be buying many of these $200 action figure sets.
No, and of course, Wave 4 is what we'll be looking for on my end, because that'll be our first Bev figure for Sub Rosa, as you can see there.
Nice.
And then let's see here. The next thing, I actually got an email. I don't know if this is breaking news, but I got an email from Nacelle that the pre-order, because I pre-ordered a few of these Wave 2s they'll be shipping in November, December of this year for Wave 2. So if you've pre-ordered, you have a little bit more waiting to do, but I think they're hopefully going to start picking up the pace with these things now.
Is it Janeway and Valaris that you've pre-ordered?
And to Paul and
I've been
Dr.
gone for Paul as well. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All the women.
Yeah.
Well done.
All the women, of course. What gay Trekkie wouldn't do that? All right. Now, kind of moving into speculation, we all know that Lego released their first Lego set back in November, right at Thanksgiving, the Enterprise D, with a special shuttle pod with a row as a special gift if you pre-ordered it or ordered on day one, I think. But rumor has it that we're heading for a second release already this summer, specifically around June, and it's sounding like it's going to be the TOS bridge. Now, these visuals are AI, so don't get excited. This is not like leaked anything, but amazing what happens once people think about stuff and jump to the internet. So I found these pretty easy just by searching. But and the rumors were pretty strong with the Enterprise D, right? Remember, it was like kind of like a whole year in the making, that announcement coming, and we knew it was coming. But
no one was
even right down to the row bonus figure that we knew that almost 6 months ahead of time, and it all came true. But yeah, Chad, take my money. Yeah, this will probably be my next one. I actually bought, so my first big Lego set was the Enterprise D, and I did buy the Project Hail Mary because I love that book and I love the movie. So this one might be the next one after that.
And I'm glad they're going, well, if it's true, that they're going for the interior sets, because
yes,
the Enterprise D is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but how do you play with it with the action figures? The inside sets are really what I want.
Yeah, you can actually see my kind of on the shelf behind me. That's about it. It's a visual.
Yeah. Paul's saying he'd love the TNG version of the bridge. Me too.
Honestly,
we got the action figures. We don't want an empty TOS bridge with TNG action figures. Come on.
Well, yeah, you can, you can do like a whole little time jump there. I would. Well, I hear you. I'm with you. I would prefer it to be the TNG bridge but this is good that they're progressing, and obviously this wasn't just a one-off.
And it's nice for the 60th as well, I guess, to have an original series main release.
I thought about that too. I thought that, okay, because it is the 60th, it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, fun. Paul says, I always wanted the old TNG bridge play set when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I guess he means the Playmates one for the little 4.5 inch. It was one of my prized possessions. I was lucky enough. I wore my parents down and made them buy it for me.
Just interesting, when I was a kid, I used to build Star Trek ships and bridge sets with Legos when I was a kid. So
wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I used to build the Columbia. I don't know why. Like the whole, I think it ended up being in the first episode of Strange New Worlds as the Archer, but just the saucer with one nacelle, because I saw that design in a TOS schematic book when I was a kid, and I was like, I really like that, and it had never been on screen until all those years later in Strange New Worlds. So, but that was the ship I always built. It was called the Columbia in this book, but on screen it was the Archer. Nerd moment for you there.
No, kids are very imaginative. I've made lots of action figure sets with cardboard boxes and some pens and paints and things, and they were just as good as the plastic ones you get officially, if not more, because I made them.
Yeah, even better. Yeah.
All right. And finally, jumping to some STLV news, I guess this was kind of the announcement we knew was coming. Paul Giamatti was announced as a major guest for the 60th convention coming up here in August. He joins a couple other crew members. So I think we have about 5 or 6 now from the Starfleet Academy series. So I'm going to jump to this next one here. There we go. Yeah. So several of the cadets, Sandra Rusta, Zoe Steiner, and George Hawkins, and also Gina, I can't always say her last name. Yashir. Okay. She's the one I'm excited most about, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you start with that, Sam? I've always wanted to meet you. I can't pronounce your name.
I know. That would be right on brand for me, as we know. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Smile and take a photo with me.
Well, those lines for autographs and photos are going to be long. That is correct.
Yeah, because you don't know how many times you're going to get Paul Giamatti. I think especially with the show now being canceled, and he's not in season 2. We know that he's already said that. So we've seen what we're going to see of him. He's basically 3 episodes, maybe. So interestingly enough, I was kind of doing a little bit of a Downton Abbey rewatch, and I forgot he plays Cora's brother Harold in Downton Abbey. So I kind of get 2 of my little fandoms scratched there. Yeah. Yes. So
well, I'm hoping that Holly Hunter will be next to follow Paul Giamatti, because that would be so amazing to have her there.
Right. And I would stand in that line.
I'm still hoping for Jolene Blalock for the big Enterprise.
Yes.
It's 25 years for Enterprise this year. So if they manage to get the entire cast including Joey, I would queue around the block wearing this in the Las Vegas heat. Actually, no, I'd be in an Enterprise jumpsuit, but I'd suffer the heat, put it that way.
Well, have you guys hedged and bought that special Enterprise ticket? They're having a special like get together on like Friday or Saturday night that's just for Enterprise. It's some sort of like networking kind of party thing. Like it's not, and it's limited tickets and whatnot, but it's just the Enterprise cast.
I've not seen this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'm
maybe you're on a special mailing list, Christos. That
I did get it. Was an email sent to me by Creation, so I'm sure if you go to their site though, you'll find it. I'll see if I can find it during the next segment and drop it for you guys.
Brilliant, thank you.
Very good. Well, let's bring in Josh and JJ to see what they think of the news. If there's anything going on that they want to comment on. Hello, JJ.
Hello. So I want to comment on the fan home subscription thing. I've been subscribed to the Enterprise D build up, and I've got most of it, but for the last 4 months they haven't sent any parts, and they keep getting emails that say that they're out of stock. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But
sorry, changed my shirt.
For a costume change already.
Yeah. Back to Risa.
Exactly.
JJ, have Fan Home started shipping any of the action figures yet, or are they just the starships that you've been getting?
I've just been doing the build up kits, so like the big one that has the lights and everything like that.
Right.
So that's all I've been doing. I did a non-Star Trek, so Transformers, Optimus Prime, and then the Enterprise D. So I have everything for the Transformer, but I don't have everything for the Enterprise D. So.
Excellent. And Josh, are you Star Trek Cruise specific, or would you be tempted by STLV? Do you tend to get to Vegas?
I would love to go to Vegas. I actually have had a couple of really nice trips to Vegas. I don't do any of the gambling stuff, but the climate, the people watching, the resort vibes are great. But the cruise is so special. I can't, hearing what it's like at Vegas, the cruise, you're like locked in there with I might bump into, somebody at like the buffet or something, and that just doesn't really happen in Vegas, I guess, for the most part.
No.
But obviously to see everyone that I've met on the cruise would be really phenomenal. And obviously Amy lives in Vegas, so even more reason to go.
Yes,
the vendors room
agreed.
where they get you, Josh. That vendors room where they get you.
I will say too, I know that you mentioned the D. We have the D. It's in Cam's office, and that thing took him weeks to build. But like, we wish that like you could take at least one part of it off, and there was like a scene in there that you could like play with, and even like Rolaren in the shuttle. Like, it's weird how you kind of just throw her in. There's not really like a spot for her. And also the whole sticker thing, that like the stickers were all wrong. I'm like, that is inexcusable. When you're paying $400, $500, I can't remember how much it was. It needs to be a little bit more appropriate, but it's kind of funny too. Like, we got a boldy go.
No luck with shuttlecrafts. She either gets blown up in one or thrown in one.
Now, were you able to get the replacement stickers? Because
I did. Yeah,
the replacement stickers also are wrong.
Oh no!
Technically, the delta is like weird. It's not it doesn't have the right delta on it. But we kept the original because we thought that was kind of like it's like a misprint, So like, it's also kind of part of the moment, right? To boldy go.
Yeah.
Mine's not been out of the box. I've not built. I refuse to build it until I've got somewhere to display it, because it's like you said. It's just, what do you do with it? It'll just be gathering dust or getting hit with a Hoover and falling to pieces if I'm cleaning up. I want one of the nice Perspex display boxes that you can see on the internet.
There's also lighting kits you can get that like you can have it like light up and stuff, which would be really cool.
Lovely. Brilliant. I think Amy's typing her shopping list.
Oh,
there.
Yeah,
so,
sorry.
She's going to the grocery store later. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you guys for jumping in the news. Christos, thank you for doing the news this week. Lovely to see you as always. And Josh and JJ and Christos, we'll see you a little later in the show. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, who have we got first, Amy?
Well, we so grateful to have Josh back with us. We love, Josh, having you come on your segments. We always learn so much, and it's just incredible. So how have you been? Thanks for coming back on the Viewscreen with us.
Thank you for having me back, first of all. I've been quite well, I think, despite the horrors. Nevertheless, she's persisting. I went to India for a friend's wedding, and the day I was in Bengal, it was amazing. I have a totally new microbiome now, by the way. And anyway, I had a layover in Abu Dhabi, and we took off, and the war started. And I was in air over the fucking Strait of Hormuz, and we had to get diverted. And I'm like, I'm so mad. Like, our government has no care. These billionaires are going to drive us all into an early grave because there's no consequences, and they're just ruining the planet. And anyway, it was nuts. And I'm grateful that I was able to, be out and, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, also work is insane. But springtime is here. My bulbs in the garden are starting to bud out. My orchids inside are starting to bloom. My seedlings are blooming. And it's like my observatory in my backyard is no longer covered in 3 feet of snow. So now I can get inside of it and actually do things. So
yes.
What are your spring flowers, Josh? Because here it's daffodils and tulips, very reminiscent of Easter and spring here in the UK. I'm just curious what it's like in America, whether you have different indicator flowers for the seasons.
We absolutely have all the typical horticultural ones that are not native here. We are in a very cold environment, so like the tulips can perennialize, hyacinths, daffodils, squills. There's those typical non-native ones. Bush-wise, I would say our maples, our cherry trees, and forsythia or forsythia, I guess what you would call it. That is an early one. We also have native ones too. So our garden is a blend of both of these, and I planted a bunch of natives with Cam in our woodland garden area. So we have these things called bloodroot, sanguinaria. We also have hepatica in there. We have some native dicentra, which is like a Dutchman's breeches, and various other things like that are we call them spring ephemeral. So they come up when there's no leaves out in the forest, and then they bloom and they get the full sun that they need, and then they go away. And some of them have mimicry, which is not mimicry. I think that's what it's called. They actually produce a proteinaceous structure on their seeds and attracts ants, which take the seeds back to eat the proteinaceous piece, and it spreads the seeds. And it's so cool. Sorry, I know we're here to talk about space, but obviously.
Yeah, no. When are we going to get our lovely walk in the gardens with Josh again? Are we going to get those again in your new home and garden?
We will. I will start those probably soon, because last year we moved in and there's all new house, and I was really kind of mourning the loss of the old garden, but we're starting anew, and there's actually stuff to show you. So
good. Well, Chad says California has the California poppies that are all over in spring. Almond and cherry trees bloom and are amazing. Oh, yeah. You guys got the almond trees.
Cherry blossom.
So beautiful.
Cherry blossom. I'm looking at one out of the window here now. It's beautiful and pink.
I have one outside mine, but mine is not blooming yet. I can't believe how early your spring is relative to ours.
Yeah, it's still cold.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't get too excited.
All right, Josh. Well, yes, you have many talents. And so let's get to you talking about your astronomics report.
Excellent. Thank you so much again for having me. And I didn't put a little dot here, but I wanted to call out, I just double checked using Google to do the math, how many millions of kilometers we've traversed in space since we last were together on the Viewscreen. And it was like over 300 million kilometers have we traveled through space together.
Oh
so
my gosh.
I started to give space-time coordinates. So I like this. We've been, about 6 months in time and 300 million
Yes.
kilometers in space. Anyway, next slide. Gosh, what the heck do I talk about today? And it's Easter, and Easter's associated with spring. So I thought, people might not realize when Easter actually falls. There's a very specific astronomical meaning to the term Easter, and also what equinox means. And anyway, some solar eclipse stuff. I have an away mission coming up for this, and I thought that'd be fun to talk about. Winter sky, final views, and then I'll talk about some space missions that are kind of in the news that I've been following.
Excellent.
So first of all, away mission I'm very excited for. This will be my third total solar eclipse. This time I'll be traveling to Soria in Spain, which is where the red arrow is on the right-hand side. The path of totality, you can see the full one. It starts kind of at the North Pole and kind of swoops down through Greenland, Iceland, and then Spain. And on the left graphic, you can see this kind of purple oval shape overlaid over the yellow outlines of the continents of Earth. And you can see this kind of arc drawn toward the right side of that. That's the path of totality. But if you are in any of that purple area, you will see a partial solar eclipse. So if you look at the bottom, there's that inset image that looks like a kind of a bite is taken out of the sun. That's what a picture I took through eclipse glasses in the last eclipse I saw in Vermont. So that is what you would see, something like that. That's probably about 20%. So if you're on like Western Canada to like maybe the Northeast US, that's what you'll see around this time. I put the time ranges at the top so you could know when it's sort of going to begin and when it's going to be at maximum. So I highly recommend you going outside to take a look on August 12th at these times. And something that's fun to do is you can make an Atlas Obscura. So you take a piece of paper or cardboard and poke a hole. If you don't have the eclipse glasses, you can hold that down and the shadow cast, you'll be able to see the sun's shape that's partially eclipsed. You can also look at if there's beneath a tree, it'll be summertime, there'll be leaves out, and all the little shadows that are cast by the gaps in the leaves will also function like an Atlas Obscura, and you'll see a whole array of little arced sunshines.
Wow.
So definitely take a look. The image there in the middle is what I had my telescope with me at the last eclipse and was able to pull that out during totality. So that's the only time it's safe to look at an eclipse. So you must use either an Atlas Obscura or eclipse glasses for partial eclipse. But if you're in the path of totality, at the moment of totality, you can take off your glasses and you can stare at the corona of the sun with your naked eye. So very looking forward to it. There's a risk of clouds like always. But I figure worst case scenario, I'm in Spain. So
it's less likely to be cloudy in Spain than it is in a lot of other places. So yeah, enjoy.
Thank you. And Cam's coming with me. It'll be great.
Yay.
And, so next slide, please. So when is Easter and what does spring mean? So here's a graphic that depicts the orbit of the Earth. You'll notice Earth is tilted at about a 24-degree angle, 23.5 degrees, and it goes around the sun. And because of that tilt and going around the sun, it causes our seasons. For those of us that are in the northern or southern hemispheres, of course, if you're in the equator, you kind of always have the same kind of climate. Now, you kind of tilt away from the Earth in the wintertime in the northern hemisphere. Sorry, you tilt away from the sun in the northern hemisphere during the winter, and you tilt toward the sun in the summertime in the northern hemisphere. And when you are going in between the extremes of the orbit, so the solstices on the ends there, that's when you have the longest day or the shortest day of the year, right? So we're past the winter solstice, and that kind of segment, that quadrant of the orbit of the Earth, or the sun, of the Earth around the sun, sorry, when we're in those quadrants respectively, that's what you would call like astronomical winter or astronomical autumn. It is defined by kind of that slice of our orbit between the solstice and the equinox, right? And so those transitions are when you get those seasons. And it's also called the vernal or spring equinox. And Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
So we just had the spring equinox, the astronomical kind of event around March 20th, March 21st. That's always when it happens. And so then we just had a full moon on April 2nd. This is a picture I took from the almost full moon, the technically waxing gibbous or waning gibbous from Nahant, where I live, over the ocean as it was rising. It was stunning. It was orange and beautiful. And yeah, so we just had that full moon a couple days ago, and lo and behold, we're on Sunday, and it is the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, and it is Easter.
Wow.
And a final little science tidbit for you on equinoxes. We have the solstices and we have the equinoxes, and here are images in the center taken from a geosynchronous satellite to show you the same spot on Earth during each of those moments in our orbit. And you'll notice a terminator, that is the line that demarcates the shadow part and the illuminated part of a planetary body. So if you look at the moon and it's half illuminated, that line down the middle would be the terminator. And so Earth also has a terminator. And so when you see on the equinoxes, it is equal day and equal light. Or sorry, equal day, equal night on the planet, right? So about 12-12. And then as you go towards the June solstice, that's when you get to longer days. And then there's therefore more light hitting the Earth. And then when you go to the winter solstice, that's the shortest days. And that's when you have the least amount of light kind of hitting the Earth. So anyway, there you go about equinoxes and orbits and stuff.
Interesting. And you pointed out the Voyager episode as well. Is that
I had to. Thank you for.
Is it anything to do with anything, or it's a Nova class ship? Does Nova and Equinox have any relationship together, or is it just random and thrown out?
Not so much. I don't know if it was just like I should have looked more into the etymology of the equinox, and I was kind of thinking about that. I guess I thought kind of like a bit of like a hard winter or like a hard moment and like a rebirth that comes out of it, and like a discovery of what's important to you, maybe. There really like is a deeper meaning.
That's what happens to Captain Ransom,
right? There's kind of like a rebirth.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of as far as I could get my mind to the meaning of having a ship named Equinox.
Yeah.
What equinox means. Also, the idea of it being equal day and equal night, maybe like one could represent kind of darkness and the worst of ourselves, and one could represent kind of our principled, kind of more positive way. Yeah, Janeway.
Brilliant. I'll take that. Thank you. That's brilliant.
And so the winter sky is kind of going away. So again, because we're tilted and we're going around the sun, we're going to see different parts of the sky. And so in the wintertime in the northern hemisphere, we tilt kind of away from the sun and towards a region of space that's kind of in between galaxies. So we're looking away from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So we'll see a bit of the arm, but really we're kind of looking into empty space. So that's why the stars, and there's a couple of really bright stars. So the winter sky combined with those bright stars, there's not the dust of the Milky Way and the other light from the Milky Way. And got like the lower water vapor and all those kinds of considerations in the atmosphere make the winter sky really bright. And often people kind of remark that the sky seems so much clearer in the winter because you don't have like the summer humidity and all that kind of stuff. But looking west after sunset, you will see kind of the last glimpses of what would be the peak winter sky. There's still some lovely things to see here. So of course, Jupiter is going to be around that area. You have some really bright stars, Procyon and Capella. Sirius is the brightest star, and it's also relatively close by, 8.5 light years away. It's also a multi-star system. And then the Orion Nebula is unmistakable, and it is visible with the naked eye. So if you look just to the below those 3 stars in a row for Orion's belt, you will see Orion's Nebula, an image inset here that I took a couple years ago. You also can still see the Pleiades with the naked eye. It's like a fuzzy patch. And if you look, if you do like even like a DSLR photo, which is what I've shown that I took this summer on the upper right-hand side, you see kind of like this collection of stars. And that white inset box is what I did with my telescope, zoomed in on that region. And there's one of the stars called Merope, which is the one to the right, the brightest one, that through its energy is illuminating some dust that star system is passing through. And so you can see the Merope Nebula as a consequence. It's a reflection nebula. And so if you do a really long exposure of the entire collection of the Pleiades star cluster, you'll see this really diffuse kind of wispy appearance to the dust that is flying through. So fun stuff kind of to show in the telescope, and you can see it with your naked eye as well. Next slide, please. And also that is still kind of present, I wanted to highlight some recent news related to this part of the sky. This is an amateur photo I have that I produced of the Crab Nebula, and it's in the Taurus constellation. I've overlaid some of the constellation artwork here so you can see. It's an unmistakable V cluster, it's also an open cluster similar to the Pleiades. You'll see they're kind of near each other, and Aldebaran, which is the brightest star in it's called the Hyades star cluster that makes up Taurus there, that V. It's orange, unmistakably, like an orangey kind of reddish color. If you follow that V arc up, you'll see there's this other bright star, and adjacent to that is where the Crab Nebula is, a star that's kind of shedding its outer layers, and you have like a neutron star in the middle that's kind of powering the fluorescence of those elements. And Hubble has taken an image of the Crab Nebula in 1999 and released a latest image taken in 2024, just released a couple weeks ago, of March of 2026. And there's a fun slider found at their website here that allows you to slide back and forth between 99 and 2024, and you can actually see the nebula expansion and changing over time as you slide back and forth.
Gosh, wow, that's awesome.
We always think of space as being just stuck up there, but there's stuff that's moving all the time, and now we've had these missions for long enough that we can build up those data sets and see them actually move over time.
Exactly. That's powerful. That's awesome.
Next slide. Of course, if you're not aware, you're living under a rock, you might have missed that for the first time in many of our lifetimes, we are going back to the moon. And of course, the last time this happened was during the Apollo missions. And so it's pretty remarkable that we're going back to the moon. Artemis 2 is the continuance of the Artemis mission, Artemis 1 being the first one, that is basically designed to sequentially and progressively take us to the moon. So Artemis is kind of the first ways to show that we can get to the moon. Artemis 1, we can orbit it and bring a vehicle back. Artemis 2, we can do a human-powered flight, and eventually the idea being that we would have a station that's permanently on the moon, and it could be a waypoint for further exploration of the solar system, which would be pretty cool. We're obviously many decades from that, but this is certainly something that we're just interested in. And geopolitically, Neil deGrasse Tyson makes an argument that often we don't do these kinds of things because it's costly until we might not be the first ones there to take advantage, or if some of our adversaries or even some of our allies are the first to go to that space. So, China, of course, is landing landers on the moon, and all other space agencies are starting to have similar capabilities as us in space. And so you'll see this continued focus on space exploration. And perhaps in our lifetime, maybe we could book a little $10,000 ticket to go orbit around the moon and come back. I don't know. We'll see.
The new Star Trek cruise.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine? I wouldn't mind going with oh my god, what's the guy that plays Darren? George Hawkins. I wouldn't mind going on a loop around the moon with George Hawkins. But the 4 people on the crew, I have to call out, they're all important, but Christina Koch and I went to the same high school, the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. Shout out unicorns. Yes, I went to a school whose mascot was the unicorn, so it's a science and math school. So anyway, had to call that out. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit verbose here. The final thing I want to say about this is the image at the right they took from the capsule as it was leaving the Earth. And you can see the aurorae on the poles there, and that little dust. It's not a glitch or something on camera. That's actually zodiacal light, which is dust in our solar system, the plane of the ecliptic, which is left over from the formation of our solar system. And so you can see that there in the image, which is beautiful. And I think this is, if you look at the bottom left on the edge, you kind of see Spain there, the Strait of Gibraltar, and then Africa kind of coming up there. This is my best guess.
Yeah.
So this is amazing.
Yeah, it is. NASA Artemis, I think, is on Instagram, and follow them. It's so interesting to see what they do. And the explanations and like all the little videos from space. It's really cool.
Thank you for saying that. I meant to put a link to it, but if you just Google Artemis 2 live feed, you'll see the YouTube link. They have a live feed from the capsule. It's a little glitchy. Sometimes it goes in and out because, you know, for whatever reason, I mean, they're at the moon.
Yeah. I mean, for whatever reason, they're how many million miles away?
Yeah, right. But on April 6th, that's when they're getting their closest approach. So tomorrow, so they're basically, on the live feed now, you can see the disk of the moon, and it's coming closer and closer. So this will be pretty cool. So follow along and watch.
Yes.
It's so exciting. It's so nice to have this collaborative mission in space with everything that's going on here on the planet.
Right.
To actually look to the stars and see people doing good work together.
And there's some firsts too. I believe Christina is the first woman to go to the moon, or like the moon orbit, I think. And then also there's like a first Canadian, I think.
Canadian guy, yeah.
One of the Canadian guys. Sorry for my Maple Leafers, but I know one of them is your first Canadian to go that far away. So anyway, congratulations.
Yeah.
A lot of firsts. Next slide. So James Webb, you know, I'm a big girly for James Webb. It's an important location in the solar system, the L2, the Lagrange point 2, which is, I know Amy loves the math, so I had to put the math back up. But we have another scope going there soon, which I didn't put in here yet because maybe it's 2026, maybe it's 2027. But it is the Roman telescope, and it's basically ready to launch, more or less. And if NASA's budget gets cut, there's a chance that we just won't launch the damn thing. So it's important that if you live in the United States, that you let your elected representatives know that you do not want NASA's budget cut. NASA's budget is at risk of being cut to the levels that we have not seen since 1961, which is pre going to the moon, the space race for the first kind of iteration, right? So NASA does incredible science. It is so essential for our understanding of the cosmos. All kinds of research that happens at NASA filters out into the economy, and you get all kinds of like side effects of this burst in innovation that comes from being able to the technical hurdle that is to send a vehicle into space. And they're able to take certain kinds of risks that a private company cannot because of the immediate return on investment isn't always there, right? But it's so critical. Some latest images from James Webb are shown on the right here. This gorgeous black eye galaxy. You can see it actually has alternating kind of flow. The dust is going in one direction and the kind of stars are going in another. And there's an interaction between those dust and stars, and you're getting like star formation occurring. And on the upper right-hand side, also a star forming kind of region. You have this clump of dust in space, which is condensing into new stars. So you get these fabulous jets and all kinds of beautiful structures as the stars are glowing inside of the cocoons in which they're being born. So really great. And I think I have just like the one more just to talk about the Rubin telescope. As a reminder for people, this is what it looks like in Cerro Pachón on the left-hand side. It's the largest camera ever built, and it images the whole sky like every 3 days, which is only possible in this present moment in time. Even a decade ago, we did not have the technology, AI or otherwise, to be able to process such huge amounts of data so quickly. And there's fiber optic cables in Cerro Pachón all the way down to the city nearby to be able to get all that data in. Next slide. And it's because it's imaging every 3 days, it is doing really, really quick kind of scanning of the sky, and is able to find transient things. So, for example, asteroids that might be moving by. These could be near Earth or otherwise, or other phenomena in space. And then they find these things, and they can send out alerts to other observatories around the planet. Hey, there's this cool thing happening here. You might want to go check it out, like supernovae and things like this. But since it's been its first summer of operation, over 10,000 asteroids were discovered. And you can see here that there's the asteroid belt and the dark blue disk around the inner planets, and which were previously known asteroids, and all the ones marked in teal are the ones that were discovered new by Rubin.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
That's like 20%.
And so they're kind of slicing through areas. And so we previously would, it's going to really advance. We're going to have millions of these by the time this system is done, scanning the sky. And so it's going to really enhance our knowledge of this region of space around us, which after all, we do not want one of these rocks coming and getting flung into Earth, right? And the sooner we know about that, the sooner we can take advantage of it. You can explore the images and the science as well. Some links here to go to the observatory page. NASA is always very good because it's publicly funded. It's easy to access that data and see it, interact with it. And they have a vested interest in creating easy to read graphics and helping the public understand the science that's happening. So highly recommend you go check it out. Brilliant. And I believe, and just the final shout out here, there are ways to look at the sky and you can just use your eyeballs. Just go do it. And if you have some binoculars, turn them up at the sky. Don't look at the sun. And there's a couple apps that can help enable you to understand what you're looking at. Free web resources as well to know kind of where to find certain things in the sky, what might be of interest that night. There's various YouTube resources. And of course, you could follow the space missions. They have social media. They're on all of the different platforms. And so that's a nice way to, as you're doom scrolling, you'll get a nice little burst of dopamine from something that's a little bit more substantive than what the Kardashians are doing, I guess.
Yes.
We'd much rather see what the Kardashians are doing. So
literally.
Brilliant. Thanks, Josh. Let's bring in JJ and Christos, please, Amy, and ask for their thoughts on that. So, JJ, what did anything jump out from the slideshow for you?
Just number one, Josh, that was awesome. I know you've had this huge interest, and it's just so enlightening. And thank you very much for that. That was really cool. One of the things that popped in my head, actually, when I saw the RMS mission start, was like, how are they protecting the ship? So I started doing my research to understand the shielding. I didn't get to finish it because of work, obviously. But,
I have no idea how they do the shielding. I don't think that there's a ton of shielding, and I feel like if there was like the right kind of events, they're kind of getting blasted with radiation when they're up there, anyways, even if they're in low Earth orbit. So
I read that they chose this time and this trajectory because the Earth is protecting them significantly from a lot of the cosmic radiation.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just super interesting, and I would love to understand how our technology is evolving through this. So
I know that's the thing too. Like, you don't think about, let's just go to Mars, but then it's like, do you even have cancer by the time you get there? Like, how sick are you? So it's not just trivial, and like you can't just put lead around. I mean, you can put water, I guess, but like all that stuff takes so much energy to get out of the Earth gravity well.
Yeah, that's what I liked about, the book Project Hail Mary, because they actually kind of wrote some science about that, how they did protect the astronaut, the Ryan Gosling character, or Dr. Grace. Like, they wrote that in there because it is a thing that they have to consider. So, science fiction, science fact, whatever you want to call it, but at least you're taking into account the same way Star Trek does with like the deflector dish and things like that are being done to protect the ship, so that you don't die from space dust, puncturing a hole through the shield.
Yeah. Until Beverly Crusher brings metaphasic shields to our attention, we have to kind of try out that.
It's coming. 24 what?
Brilliant. Wonderful. Josh, well, we know you have to run off because you have other engagements. So thank you for taking the time to join us on the view screen. But before you do, can you give a little mention to the viewers and the listeners where you can be found online if people want to carry on the conversation?
Sure. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook as Joshua Judkins. So just Google me. You'll find me probably. Hopefully only my professional and appropriate public-facing content.
Appropriate. I
love that. Well, thank you once again. Send our love to Cam, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, Josh. Brilliant. Okay, we are going to take a short break, and then we will be back with JJ. So see you guys soon.
What's happening on BQN, you ask? Let's chart the Star Trek cosmos with all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with the insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. Galaxy class, engage! Steven and Stefan pilots this Alpha Quadrant mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiance lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into a rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the tea, Bev? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as podcasts are Trek Masters. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the Viewscreen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of a Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. But beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Zalogis. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. You can unlock deeper levels of engagement with our exclusive patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio. Welcome back. You guys, yes, we've got JJ coming back to us. We love his pride badges. We love that, JJ, you are our associate producer of the Viewscreen. So welcome back to the Viewscreen. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me back. It's always fun. And I always try to watch on Sundays to see everybody. So it's kind of like my... I miss you guys because I don't get to see you but maybe once or twice a year. So it's my kind of window to see everybody. So I look forward to it.
This is your little top up of us until Vegas.
Yes. Yeah,
yes.
Can't wait to Vegas.
Before we move, can I just say a big thank you to James, who was clearly waiting for our ad break there to run the vacuum cleaner around downstairs. So for those 2.5 minutes, I could hear the vacuum. Now he's stopped because we're back. So thank you, James, for not causing a distraction.
Oh, JJ's your neighbor, Paul.
Yeah,
you
don't live too
can
far
have
from
your
him.
own little Trek convention there.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
Yes. All right, JJ. So the big 60th year.
Yeah.
Got some badges planned for us, but you also went on the cruise recently, didn't you?
I sure did. It was my 7th cruise.
Oh, wow.
And this time I dragged both of my sisters with me. I wanted them to have the experience. So this is us meeting up at the airport. And then that next day we were, my little sister there who's on the right, she is, I love her to death. And God bless her, but she is very clumsy. And so she, the first thing she did to eat, she's opening her ranch and it goes all over her. You can see it covered on her face. And then my big sister on the left of her. And it was funny. So right there, the trip started off with a bunch of laughs, and it was totally enjoyable.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yes.
JJ, I just realized as well, if that was your 7th of 9 Star Trek cruises.
Oh, I never realized that. Yeah.
There you go.
Ooh.
7 of 9.
I love it. So the joke with my sisters was like, "Are you going to get sick of us by the end of the cruise?" And I mean, you could see why. I'm just kidding, but they were a lot of fun. They really enjoyed all of the shows on the ship. I think it was a joy for me just to watch them laughing as hard as I laugh at some of the shows. So it was a really fun time.
Are they Star Trek fans?
Not really. No. I think they enjoy it. Like I think it was Starfleet Academy. My big sister and my youngest niece started watching that, and then they had some questions, and I think they enjoyed it. And after the cruise, they definitely are poking at it a little bit more. So
nice. Well, we were saying this to Justin last week when he was on, saying what's it like. But actually, Justin's a bigger Star Trek fan than he's been letting on. We thought it all just came through Kristin.
Yeah,
he was a TNG guy. He was fine on the cruise. So I'm always curious about what it's like for a completely non-Star Trek fan to attend, and how did they find it. So yeah, I'm glad they enjoyed the shows.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show some of the decorations this year because I thought they were really, really well done. They were we got on the ship pretty early, so they were still putting, this was in the promenade, which it was something they did different this year, was putting the ships and some of the props from the show in the cases on the promenade, and that was really cool. And this one was one of the ships. And then they had a huge warp core in the warp core lounge. And I was like, I was a little obsessed with this one because I was like, man, I love the decoration, but it would look really cool if we could light it up a little bit inside of it. So I would love to help them out and make that happen.
You would have been the guy for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was fun. I felt the decorations were because my very first cruise, the Star Trek Cruise 3, there was a ton of decorations on the ship, and you've kind of seen over the years where they've dropped a little bit and then they're coming back up. Like each year, there's more and more decor coming back, which I really, really enjoy. And I think next year is going to be the 10th. So with as much as we had this year, I can't wait to see next year.
Did you get to see, because we saw previously the big cube scene?
I never took a picture of that, and I don't know why, but yes, that was, every single time I walked past it, it was like it was in the location where Starbucks was on some of the other ships.
Okay.
And so every single time I walked past it, I got distracted. I had to stop and watch because it was just nonstop Borg episodes, movies. It was great. And that's where I would always find Christian. Christian was always hanging out in the Borg room.
Nice. And how many of those drinks? I see you took a cocktail sampling.
Yeah, actually, I had a few drinks this trip. I don't usually drink much, but they had some very delicious drinks, and I can't remember their names. But yeah, I had a few.
Very
Thankfully,
good.
I didn't get too hungover.
Good.
Then, of course, I have to get whenever Doug is either on the cruise or at the convention, which he's not going to be at STLV this year, unfortunately. But he was on the cruise, so we got to see him and his wife, Miss Lori. So we got to hang out with him a little bit. I actually got to have lunch with him one day. He was very, very busy because he had so many things going on, but all of his performances they were just magical, really fun. He had this session where he taught miming to basically in Studio B, and then chose 2 people to participate in the variety show at the end of the cruise.
Wow.
So it was really exciting.
Yeah. Oh wow! So they weren't even in that show. They had to remember it for the rest of the week and then come back.
Yeah. It was it was relatively simple, and it was actually a very funny skit. So it was really enjoyable.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Oh,
and then of course we had to get our picture in front of the Delta the ship, and for some reason, maybe I missed it, but so many people kept tripping around the Delta this year. Like every time I turned around, there were people falling on the floor in front of it, and I was like,
that might have something to do with the previous slide, which was the Warp Core cocktails.
Probably.
Wow. So Paul in the chat says one of my friends got to do the mime thing with Doug. What? That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Okay.
So this is exciting because the last time we spoke, you were deciding what design to go for almost. And this was one of the prototype designs. So I was delighted when I saw this realized.
Yeah. So, I will say this was the toughest badge I've done so far. Number one, it took me several hours of designing and redesigning, and I was never happy with it. I'm sure, Amy, I sent you a bunch of pictures. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this one?
Yes.
And so and that's one of the things I love to do is send things out, get people's feedback. Because what's really funny is like when I'm looking at it, I kind of see what I want in my head, but sometimes it's a little challenging to make it happen, especially with 3D printing. And so getting other people's perspectives usually help make that picture come to reality. So, but these were some of the first versions, which, I mean, they were okay, but it just didn't look polished. But, I just wanted to show a little bit of how it evolved.
Evolution.
Yeah.
And then this was the final product.
It's beautiful.
I'm really happy with it. Maybe not so happy with the amount of work it takes to make these ones. I had to put some of the stats there. I used quite a bit of the bronze filament to make these, mostly because I printed a bunch of them and there were issues with how they were printing, and so I had to modify it a little bit. Once I figured out the way to modify it, it turned out fine. But these badges, because they're small and they don't have a lot of area to work with the magnets, and so literally I installed, I bought 2,800 of the tiny magnets, which are the 3mm, and then the 5mm, 2,800 of those. And then I struggled because gluing, you could see in this one, there's a lot of glue around the edges.
Yeah.
And this was one of the things that took the most amount of work to do. And as I was trying to assemble it, it wasn't really doable for how many badges I needed to produce, right? In the time frame that I had to do. So I actually modified the design. And I don't think I have this one, but I have the prototype of the new one. I'll show you. But what I ended up doing was creating octagons for the holes, and I was able to put the magnets in there, and they just stayed in there. Like I would have to stamp them into them, but that made my workload significantly easier. But once I got everything created and printed out, it took about 3 weeks to get all the magnets installed and then them all packaged, and that was just for 350 badges. So.
Wow.
So if you're putting the badges in the holes rather than gluing them on, is it the time it takes the glue to dry and set, and that adds to the production time?
The glue definitely makes it more difficult because the glue that I have to use it can't be like super glue where it sets in 30 seconds, which would make my life amazingly easier. It's glue that has to set. It doesn't harden for 2 hours. And the reason is because if I use super glue, it actually reacts to the water that's in the PLA plastic and creates a white crusty film on the badge, which that's not what I want, right? And you can't get it cleaned up. You can't. I've tried a couple trips that I found online. It doesn't really get them to go away. So the glue that I have to use is a glue that really, the only way it works is it actually expands. So it's basically keeping a lot of pressure to hold the magnets in place. because you put it in the hole and you put the magnet in, and then you got to let it sit. So that means I need to have something hold those magnets in place. So usually what I do is I stack the badges on top of them. Well, that was not at all possible with these badges, because you can see the 60th stick out a little bit.
Yeah.
And because of that, the stacking of these things to hold them in place was just not going to work.
Right.
So I had to redesign it, and that's when I come up with, creating a hexagon just slightly smaller than the magnet size, and then literally pounding the magnets into there, which would essentially was the same thing that the glue was doing, was keeping it in there via pressure. So I did about half of the badges were glue, the other half were pressed in magnets. And I don't think I had any, nobody really came up to me with any issues with the magnets falling out with either one of them. So the biggest thing I had was, people would lose the badges, right? Like, they're definitely not hug proof. As hard as I try. If you hug, they definitely fall off fairly easily. But that was the biggest thing that people kept coming up with. Hey, I have this back if you want to give it to somebody, right?
Oh,
so
I bet Doug lost his then.
Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah, yeah. But it was a lot of work.
So I love, just from looking at the prototype, like, you've got the edge around it, which really finishes it and makes it just pop. And
especially on the 60 as well.
Yeah.
So all of the other badges, I didn't put this in here. There's a nozzle head, different size nozzle heads that you can use to get a finer print. All the other, not like these right here, are a 0.4 millimeter nozzle and you can see a little bit more of the plastic and being extruded there, and it's not as crisp and clean. But on the new badge, or the final version, I actually used a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, which significantly increases the print time. That's why it was like 485 hours of printing of the front pieces. And I kept the backs still using the 0.4 because I could produce quite a bit of those and get those made really quickly. So those only took 70 hours. But to get that fine detail around the edge with like the bronze color, that's what I had to do, and it turned out really good. I'm really happy with it.
Wow. Well, you're getting a lot of love in the comments. Fantastic badges. And a question from Chad says, at what point would it make sense to work with a producer in China or somewhere to make large numbers, like 500 badges that you tend to do? Or is it more for love of the game?
Yeah, I'm probably always going to do them myself and put myself through the torture of making these. And honestly, there's a reason for it, right? Like, there was a lot of newer people on the cruise this year, and the act of just giving these badges out instantly creates a bond for everyone. They see other people wearing these badges, and they know who they can talk to. It's easier to talk to. It's a feeling of a safe place. It really is, I think, very beneficial to the community. So I want to give these for free. I don't want to charge for them. So I'll always keep making them. But they are a lot of work. But the reward of seeing people getting them, smiling, and then talking with each other, that's just beautiful to me. That's totally rewarding.
It's beautiful to us as well, JJ. We say each time we see you doing this, it's just, there's not many people like you who do this for the love of seeing that with people who don't have the commercial interest. I'm counting myself amongst those people as well. I love a side hustle. It's very special. And even like when I was seeing the celebrities on the cruise, I saw like Gina Yashir with hers. I'm like, oh, she's got one of JJ's badges. I love it.
Yeah, she was so excited when I gave it to her. So yeah.
Oh well. Yes. Long may it continue, as long as your fingers and finances can take it.
I am trying to find a way to automate the production of these things. I've actually have a few friends that I've been working with to try to figure out how to make these things so that I don't have to assemble them, because they do take quite a bit of my time to do that before STLV and before the cruise, right? So I'm working on it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So for STLV, I am bringing 3 different badges. With Starfleet Academy, with having a gay Klingon, I thought it's appropriate to bring back the Klingon badge.
I've been wearing your original Pride Klingon badge a lot because of Starfleet Academy. I'm like, what great foresight you had.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that, actually. I love that original badge, actually. So it's a lot of fun. But here is the prototype of this one.
Ooh.
And wow, beautiful in
the
person.
Edging detail is beautiful.
Yeah. I keep getting better and better the more I do this. So that's also
yes,
a reason to keep doing it. But yeah, trying to make this progressive. The brown is around the edges, and then the black. Oops, going out of camera.
Yeah, let's see if we can just describe this a little bit verbally for the benefit of anyone who's just listening to the podcast. So it's the traditional Klingon emblem, and then you've broken each of the 3 kind of blade pieces, I guess, into different pride flags. You've got the traditional pride flag, the trans flag is the vertical in the middle. What's the 3rd one?
Well, these 2, the right and the left, are ultimately the
it's the
traditional.
You've separated them out. I
separated them out. Yeah,
rainbow.
It's all progressive. The progressive flag colors, right? So the edges of the bottom spikes are brown, and around the edge, and then the black around the trans piece. So, because I was struggling on how to present this, and I felt like this came out to be the best way.
Yeah. And why silver for the disc? Any particular reason, or is that just to make the colors pop?
Yeah, it was to make the colors pop, but I might actually change it to black. Like I think the original badge. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, this is the prototype. But I can also show you. This is what I was talking about with the magnets.
That looks a lot more secure for you.
Yeah. So these will just be pressed in, and they just stay. So, yeah.
That's beautiful, JJ.
And then I made the backs even smaller. So I'm trying to conserve on plastic usage because it is quite a bit. But yeah, so I'm trying to make the backs a little bit smaller and easier to print.
Well, yeah, and plus when you've got the see-through, those gaps in the printing like that. But yeah.
I'm hoping this is strong enough that I think it is going to be. It feels pretty strong, so we'll see. But I'm not sold on the silver yet, and I'm also going to try a bronze color and then the black, and I'll obviously share that out to see what people think.
Yeah,
you have to take another poll on it, see which people prefer.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Very good.
Excited about that one. And then next one, I have been. I love the Starfleet Academy badge. I just think it's a really beautiful badge. It was a lot of fun to redesign. I don't like to steal people's designs on the internet or from the community. I like to do all of this from scratch. So I literally took the pictures, took the stills from the show and the episode, trying to draw it out best I could. And this is the final version that I came out with without making it fully Pride versioned. The little flags in the top are a little bit there, but it wasn't enough to really announce that it's a Pride flag. So I worked on mocking up some additional designs, and this is definitely not final. But on the next slide is what I came up with as a mock-up, because the badges are like the ship is the Athena, right? It's kind of like gives me a birdish kind of vibe. So this is the design that I'm trying to create from this mock-up.
That is giving me almost like scales, and you can almost argue like Jem'Hadar skin. So it's very Gina's character.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to do those scales or those feathers or those petals, what do you want to call them?
Right on screen.
Yeah, but as soon as I figure it out, hopefully it looks, somewhat like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, super excited.
Wow. Yeah. Whew.
Well,
Very
there's a lot
beautiful.
of people excited about that, JJ. So remind me then, when you were saying about other designs on the internet, has there been another Pride badge? People put it up on Etsy or something like that? Have you seen them knocking around and affected what you were going to bring to market?
Yes. So there are Pride badges out there on Etsy. I don't know. How do I put this nicely? They aren't the caliber that I am trying to deliver for free. Now that doesn't mean that they're horrible. They're not. They're just not complete, I would say.
Well, I think that your process and thinking through like, are they hug proof? Is it going to stay on? What is the best coloring? Like your thinking through the process, I believe, is the most complete I've ever seen.
It might be a little OCD. I'm trying to think of every little thing that I might miss, right?
Well, it's to everyone's benefit. So you go for it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Let's bring in Christos and see. Oh, where's Christos? There we are. Hey.
It's in San Diego, love.
Always. Hey, JJ, they look really good. I kind of remember, didn't this all start from some people buying them off Etsy, and then then they got didn't Paramount go after them or something and shut them down, and then you went into production on your own?
Yes, it was my first. I think it was Star Trek. Maybe it was Star Trek: The Cruise 4 that I had purchased one off of Etsy, and a lot of people kept coming up to me and saying, "Hey, where did you get that?" It was beautiful, actually. It was out of wood, and it was absolutely a beautiful badge. Unfortunately, because it was made out of wood, it chipped very easily and kind of fell apart, right? So it was really not something I think you would want to be wearing at conventions and putting it in a case without some sort of protection. Beautiful on its own if it stays on a fridge, which is where mine is now. But people kept coming up to me and asking, "Hey, where can I get these?" And shortly after I had purchased it off of Etsy, they just kind of disappeared. And I had seen some rumors and discussions that people were asked to remove those because they were Star Trek IP. And so as long as I give them out for free, I'm safe and sound, because I give them out to all the actors. I give them out to the makeup artists that are on the ship. A lot of people from Paramount get them as well. I haven't had any complaints giving them out for free. And so that's my plan, is just to keep giving them out for free and spread the love best I can.
Yeah, I think that's right. As long as you're not profiting off of it, you're pretty much free and clear. But I think I had the same badge. I remember that, wearing it to STLV one year, and everyone was commenting. And then when I tried to give them a link, it was gone. So
which broke my heart, right? It was oh, this is such a beautiful badge. And once I said I made that decision, I'm like, all right, that's it. I have a printer. I'm going to make these and I'm going to give them out. And that's how people can get them, because a lot of people want them. So
and not everyone can afford fan sets, so it's inclusive because they're accessible to everyone. And I remember last year at Vegas seeing there was this guy who was so delighted to get your Bajoran badge, and he looked like he was going to cry. It was so beautiful. My friend made that.
Well, what's funny is I always feel like I'm going to get in trouble when I'm around fan sets because I have these, right? so we were a group of us were at fan sets one year. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Maybe it was. I don't remember when. But one of the gentlemen behind the table was asking where we got these, and they're my friend gives them, and so I gave him these. Like, my son would love one of these. We looked at trying. Then he said they looked at trying to do it themselves, but they got no, you can't do that. You're only allowed and licensed to do what was on screen. So
interesting.
Yeah. So I'll keep doing them, giving them for free.
Yeah.
And
because fan sets can't. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. I just need to ramp up production because I can't make enough of these apparently.
Wow.
All right. Well, JJ, where can people get them, and tell them where they can reach out to you?
Yeah. So I do have a website, jenediah.com, and there is a link on that site to, if you want them, they're still free. The only thing you have to pay for is shipping, because it does cost to ship these things out to people. So there's a link right now. I think the only payment that I can accept, because something's broken with my credit card processing piece, is a Zelle or Venmo payment for shipping. So.
Okay. Wonderful. And I dare say you'll have a big stash with you at STLV for all the people who are heading over there in August.
Yeah, I don't know how many to make this year, because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of people there. Actually, that brings me back to a question I had for you, Christos. Do you know, or has anyone heard, are there going to be day passes for people? Because that's the thing people I keep hearing are asking about.
Yeah.
There are none. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty crowded.
Yeah.
So it's funny because the general admission tickets, they keep saying they're going to sell out. They're going to sell out. And they're like, they're almost sold out. And you see on socials, like, there's 100 tickets left. And then I go and buy, and it's like, okay, there's like 45 available. And now you see, there's still 65 tickets of it. I'm like, really? They just... so general admission, I think, will always be available, but don't quote me on it. But I think, day passes, I'm not seeing. It's not looking good, I don't think.
I think general admissions are not available, because I just went out there this week to get some for some friends, and they were not there.
Jim's saying it's a total sellout.
Oh my gosh. Well, then I'm glad I got my ticket.
I know.
Yeah, you only got yours the other week, didn't you, Amy?
Yeah, just the other week.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And so while you guys were going on, I did do a little research here. So there is I was imagining that there is a Star Trek Enterprise 25th anniversary celebration, a separately ticketed event at $159. And it's Saturday, August 8th at 5:15. It does not conflict with the Saturday night gala, it says. And basically it's going to be a bunch of cast and crew and the Roddenberrys playing and booze and food.
Yeah. I don't tend to bother with the official galas. I just find we make our own entertainment, don't we? At the
yes, we do.
Masquerade.
The party is wherever we are.
There's some UK Trekkies who are going for the first time this year, so they keep asking me about, what about this party? Is that included? And I'm like, just go to the Masquerade bar. It's fine. It's free. Get your room drinks, bring them down. You'll save a fortune. You'll see celebrities there as well. I wonder if they're going to do the movies again on the big screen this year. That was a huge big draw towards that bar.
Yeah, that was awesome. They should. I mean, with it being the 60th.
Yeah.
But,
Brilliant. Well, while we've got everyone on screen, let's just do a quick roundup to your socials. So, Christos, do you want to start us off? Where can people find you online?
Sure. You can find me in our Discord server over on BQN and on Instagram at What's a TBev.
Wonderful. Thanks, Christos. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you really, really soon.
Yeah.
And JJ, where can people find you? I know you've already given your website, but if you're pointing to the socials, where can people find you online?
Yeah, if you go to my website, jenediah.com, my socials are on there, so you can get to me through all those.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And I would like to say, JJ, if you don't mind, I could put those pictures in our Discord server for the badges, like if you want input.
I would love that.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do that this go around. Excellent. Thank you, JJ, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a joy.
Yes.
Oh, love you. See you soon. Well, that's another show done, Amy. It's nearly time for your Easter egg hunt.
Yes, let's go get some Easter eggs.
But before you do, can you tell people where can people find you online?
Well, yeah, please find me online on our Discord server and in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. And Kelvin, what about you? Where can people find you?
I am on most of the socials at Kelvin's Timeline, or you can come and chat with me in the BQN Collective Facebook group, which is my favorite place.
Yes. Well, what do we have in store for next week?
Next week, show 4. We have some new faces on the view screen. We will be welcoming, we're doing another food and drinks week, which is always one of our favorite segments. We'll be welcoming Stefan on to do some Star Trek cocktails. And one of my favorite new YouTube Star Trek channels is the 10 Forward Test Kitchen. So all the way from Western Australia, we've got Aaron joining us. He's going to be staying up very, very late. I think it'll be like 1 a.m. for him when we go live. So I'm very grateful, first of all, for him staying up to talk to us. But I can't wait to introduce you all to those guys.
Yes. And just a little correction. That's Marcus.
I beg your pardon.
Yes. Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, we would love to hear what everyone thought of today's show. There are many ways you can do that. You can join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, which we've mentioned, or you can join our Discord server and you can follow the entire network and our BQN feed on Bluesky at BQN Podcasts. And you can find all of the show notes the links and invites in the discussion show notes.
Well, a huge thank you to our Patreon members for your ongoing support for the network and for our show. You will never hear a commercial on this network. And if you would like to continue supporting, please go to patreon.com/BQN.
Yes, or you can scan the little QR code that we've just got on screen there as well. Now, if becoming a patron isn't your thing, that's fine. Please remember you can still support our little show and our network by sharing our posts on social media, adding your comments, liking, subscribing, or just chatting about us with your friends and introducing us that way. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And thanks again to JJ for coming on and our associate producer. And don't forget, you can pick up the Viewscreen Pride badge that JJ has created just for our show. And that will be at our table at Trek Long Island with that. And that's June 12th through the 14th. If you're in the neighborhood, go stop by and say hi.
Yeah. Thank you once again for all of our guests, for everyone who's joined us today online to participate in the show, to those who are watching or listening to the catch-up on YouTube or as the podcast. We really appreciate everyone coming to spend the day with us.
Yes, and we will be back here same time next week. But for now, it's time to end our transmission. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.